I have noticed something really interesting over the last couple of years. I feel like a lot of people from my generation who used to be, let's call it what it is, gaming addicts, are slowly transferring into really big career paths. There are a lot of new, successful, young entrepreneurs who have thousands of hours in video games. And in this video, I would like to talk about why that is. And obviously you could say that most of that is because of the internet or simply just growing up. But I think there's always been something special about gaming compared to other quote-unquote bad habits, like smoking weed or doom scrolling for example. But let's be honest here, gaming is far from a productive habit and we all know that. I probably sound like a hypocrite saying that because I'm literally playing Minecraft in this video, and honestly, I still play games regularly, but not in the same way as younger me. And if you're anything like me and you have thousands of hours in games like Call of Duty, Minecraft, GTA 5, then you probably recognize yourself in what I'm about to say. If you relate in any way, then let me know in the comments. And even if you're like, the fuck is this guy talking about? I don't relate at all. That's fine, and comment that down below too. But I feel that for a lot of young guys, something changed during COVID. Because especially then, it was really bad. Like most of us were playing Prime Fortnite all day. And that combined with all the scrolling on TikTok and just a general lack of social contact, it was fun sometimes, but overall, it was a pretty rough period. It was also when figures like Andrew Tate and David Goggins were blowing up. And I think that led to a lot of people, like myself, to start doing our first productive habit, which for me was, and probably for you as well, going to the gym or just any other form of physical activity, because of course the gyms were closed during COVID for a period of time. But don't get me wrong, my days were still shit. I still woke up at like 11 AM and went to bed at 2 AM playing games all day. But that 1 or 2 hours of going to the gym made me feel at least a little bit productive. Even though if you looked at my entire day, I wasn't productive at all. And when I started seeing some results from the gym, like when I got that first dopamine hit, it kind of gave me the desire to start improving in other areas of my life as well. Like making money, improving my social skills, investing, for example. By the way, that's what my channel is all about. If you want to improve in those things, then make sure you subscribe. So I slowly started to replace those 10 hours of video games each day with more productive habits. I started looking up how to make money online, and although most of the time I was just consuming content and not really taking any action, at least I was learning something. I stumbled upon things like dropshipping, copywriting and trading. I started trying all these different things, but my attention span was so cooked that I couldn't even stick to one. So I failed miserably, but fortunately for me, I didn't buy any of those scammy courses. But I do remember that I did blow some money onto a terrible dropshipping website. I hope you can at least relate a little bit, but I don't want to make this video about myself. So how does this all relate to gaming, and why are there now so many young successful entrepreneurs who used to be literal gaming addicts? Well, it all makes sense to me now, why games like GTA 5 for example are so addictive. If you think about it, the game literally replicates almost everything that most young guys want from real life. Making a lot of money, buying yachts, expensive cars, leveling up your character, driving over fat people. Obviously, I didn't mean that. Of course, I don't want to drive over fat people in real life. And I know that there is a lot more to life than just making a lot of money and buying expensive stuff. I know that. I just took GTA 5 as an example, especially now that GTA 6 is about to release. But that's where I think the danger of video games comes into play. Like, where you try to escape reality because your own life sucks. And because you can't seem to achieve what you want in your own life, so you start achieving those things in video games instead, just because it's easier. That's where you can really fuck up and get stuck in a never-ending feedback loop. And I think a lot of people from my generation just looked back at all the hours they put into these games and thought, shit, time is passing by fast and my life isn't going anywhere. What if I just remove 1 hour of playing video games each day and go to the gym or start learning a monetizable skill instead? And when you start seeing results from those things and get that first dopamine hit of really achieving something in your real life, that's where you never look back. Well, you're probably still occasionally gonna play games with the boys, but it's never gonna be as bad as it used to. Like, I recently played Rainbow Six Siege with the boys again for like an hour. I enjoyed it a lot, but I'm fucking shit now. And obviously, getting older plays a big role in this too. Like, you definitely have a lot more responsibilities now. Maybe you have your own place. You're trying to take care of your parents, who knows? Now, I haven't really said a lot of positive things about gaming, but if you look at kids today, it has become the norm that everyone is literally glued to a screen. So I think the habit of gaming isn't that bad compared to others. Like, at least most of us were playing and having a good time with our friends, even though it was through a screen. I think it only starts becoming a problem when you use it as a coping mechanism to escape from your own miserable life instead of fixing the actual problem. So believe it or not, I think there are some traits about gaming that transfer really well into things like entrepreneurship, for example. And I believe that gaming has played a role in those people, their success. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that wasting time on video games is gonna turn you into Elon Musk. Don't use this this video as an excuse for your gaming addiction, but there are definitely some similarities. First of all, there is the grinding aspect of gaming. No one knows as much about grinding as gamers do. Like, if you grinded camos on Call of Duty, if you ever played things like RuneScape, Ark, or GTA Online without any shark cards, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. Now that I think about it, my ability to just set one goal in a game and put hours and hours into just achieving that one thing, or just trying to become better than that one friend, it was incredible. You don't really see that with kids nowadays. Everyone keeps switching from one thing to another because of their limited attention spans. Imagine if you applied that grinding aspect to learning one single monetizable skill and completely mastering it. Instead of always searching for help or tips on social media, you start helping others. It could be the most niche thing ever. For example, a really specific addiction that you quit in the past. There's always an audience out there that is interested in what you have to say. And there's always someone out there who needs your help and is facing the problems that you have faced in the past. Another useful trait about gamers is the fact that they are often a lot more comfortable with failure. When you play a new game, you know you're gonna be shit and you expect to fail. You know that the best way to improve at the game is to try again and again, dying, respawning and learning. But for some reason, when it comes to real life, everyone is scared of failure. And of course, I'm aware that the stakes in real life are a lot higher. You can't just respawn like in a video game, I know that. And I'm definitely not telling you to spend a lot of money to try different stuff and take a ridiculous amount of risks. It's just that in real life, there is this fear of being judged by others when you fail. It's easy for people who stay in their comfort zone and never really try anything to judge others who are actually trying to make something of their life. Especially as a gamer, you should know that failing is the best way to learn. Someone who's always experimenting will learn at a 100 times faster rate than someone who always wants everything to be perfect before they even start. Or worse, they don't even start at all. And when you're always experimenting, it also helps you to discover what gamers call the new meta. Like, remember when in Prime Fortnite the double pump was meta and afterwards everyone started using it? Motherfuckers would look at you like this when you said you prefer the tactical shotgun over a pump during that time. Business works similarly. If you're a TikTok creator, for example, there's always a new format that becomes popular. And the first people to adapt always get the most views. And if you refuse to adapt, then it could end really bad for you. Just look at all the local businesses that went bankrupt because they refused to sell online during COVID, for example. This cycle is literally repeating as we speak. Businesses that use AI are thriving, while those who refuse to use it get behind. I know all the AI slop nowadays really sucks, but it's here and it isn't going anywhere, so you might as well take advantage of it. But now, do you want to know what gamers are really good at? That is destroying their competition. Nothing beats the feeling of finally winning against that one friend who has been destroying you for months. This applies to almost literally every online game. But I remember picking up this game called For Honor. You might know it. It was this like third-person action game where you just fought 1v1s. I remember playing it with a friend of mine and he kept beating me. So I just taught myself everything that there was about the game. I learned every possible mechanic, every character, and any possible advantage that I could get over him. And surprise, surprise, after doing all that, I finally beat him. This transfers really well into business. I don't really like the word saturated because people often use it as an excuse not to try something. But if you're in a very saturated niche, then you need to analyze what your competition is doing. Learn about their weaknesses and replicate what works for them in your own style. It teaches you that being good simply isn't enough. You need to be better. Like, if you have to play a game against someone that you know is mechanically way better than you at the game because they have more hours into it, for example, then you're going to adapt your play style. You're probably going to play more defensively. You're probably going to change your positioning and force them into uncomfortable situations. It's literally the exact same thing in business. Imagine that you start a new YouTube channel, for example, in a really big niche that you think is really saturated. Cooking, for example. Then you're kind of like a small fish that enters a part of the ocean that's full of great white sharks that will devour you. You will never truly beat them, but if you can just find one little flaw where you can do better and capture a tiny part of the market, then you have succeeded. I know I've been yapping for some time now, but if you're still here, then you're a real one. And I hope you got some value from this video. Again, if you recognize yourself in some of the things I talked about or not at all, then comment down below your own experiences. Until next time.